There. When I first heard her in a collaboration with, let me think for a moment, what's her name? David Guetta. It was that song Titanium, so I probably heard that around about the 2010-2011 era. I was particularly into David Guetta, so I bought his album, his CD, but I hadn't really cottoned on to Sia at that stage. That wasn't for a few years later. And one of her songs that I really love, and it touches me really deep, is her song Chandelier. And I was sober when I first heard that song, but the lyrics hit me in such a way that only one other song had ever hit me, and that was Pink's song Sober, which I chose not to play today. But it was almost like that song was written for me. Both of them really, but Sia's song really, really hits home, because that's how I felt, and that's how I was living my life. And it articulated all of the feelings that I had around my active addiction. I'm not going to go on into that because that's not part of what my show is either, but the other song that I'm going to play after Chandelier is Unstoppable, because I feel like these songs are at the end of my journey with drinking and the beginning of my journey with sobriety. Now, I've been sober for a number of years now, and I'm really proud of that fact. And I've held on to my sobriety through some pretty ugly behaviour that I've been forced to tolerate from other people. I've held on to my sobriety through some of the most heartbreaking, saddest times of my life. And sadness was one of the things that I really couldn't, when you stop any kind of addiction, you really have to go deep. You've got to follow the program, and you've got to dig deep into yourself, and I couldn't live with sadness. So drinking to me was like putting on a warm, fluffy blanket that made me feel good again. But it's a double-edged sword, because addicts and alcoholics aren't like everybody else, and we're not able to put that drug or drink of choice down and walk away from it. It becomes part of who we are, what we do, and how we live. And for me, it had disconnected me completely from all I could be, of who I should have been, from my evolution. I just stayed really stagnated in that behaviour. And it's a scary, terrifying thing to get sober and to stay sober, because there's so much unknowns. And even though that drinking is not doing you any favours, in fact it's destroying you physically, mentally and spiritually, that has an overflow effect on the people that are around you, the people that you love and the people that care about you. So that's the nature of addiction, unfortunately. People think that they know addiction, but if you ever wonder why someone goes back to that, that's why. It's addiction in itself is an overwhelming compulsion to repeat a behaviour that you know will be detrimental to you. So that's where these two songs sit for me. One at the end of my drinking, beginning of my sobriety. That's where those songs sit. So they're really quite poignant for me, and because they came out of that era, and the Chandelier song doesn't make me feel sad anymore. Once upon a time it did, but now you learn to reconcile your past and what you've done and who you are. And I've worked really hard to maintain my sobriety, and wherever possible I have really worked hard to make amends. Now, it's not going to work with everybody. Some people are just, I might paint you with that alcoholic brush forever, and that's okay. Everyone has their own journey, but these two songs mean something to me. So I thought I'd get on the radio and I thought I'd share that. It's a little bit deep, but sometimes you got to go a little bit deep, to work through your demons, and those are my demons. So I don't have a problem with anybody drinking. I'm not a teetotaler at all, and I can't say that I wasted my entire life. There were some fabulous fabulous events and evenings and dinner parties and shows and lots of fun things that I did while I was drinking, but towards the end I was just in a dark place and I abused it completely, and it just about damn near destroyed me. So yeah, I just wanted to play these two songs. And for anybody out there that might be thinking, you know, maybe I'm using alcohol in the wrong way, or it's taking a hold of me, and it's when, you know, for me, I abused it so much that it had a complete hold over me, to the point where, you know, people that drink, they can't, you have to medically detox, you know, and if you don't, you will be incredibly sick for the first few days, and there's always a danger that you're going to, let's just mention Amy Winehouse, because that's what hastened her end. So yeah, be careful. You know, if anybody out there is contemplating sobriety, there are some fantastic resources out there, and holy moly, if you reached out to me, I'd help you, I'd listen, because that's part of the 12 steps, is giving back, you know, and living a life of service, which is why I try to do things that feed my soul and are good for other people. So yeah, just a little bit of perspective. Don't get down and out, people. I'm a happy chappy and life is really, really good. And as I always say, my worst day sober still beats my best day drunk. And every day is just one step at a time. But I'm really grateful that I've had a journey that is coming up 9 years long. Yeah. But as I say, one step at a time. So there's a little background on the two songs that I'm going to play for you. And once they're finished, I'm just going to go straight into the ad rotation. So thank you so much for listening to me this afternoon. I really appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed the tunes that you've heard and interesting fun facts that I've brought to the table. And I shared a little bit about, what these last two songs mean for me and where they've taken me and how they've helped me. Because, you know, songs, man, they're amazing. That song Unstoppable really is me taking my life back and going, boom, I am unstoppable. I'll do what I need to do. I don't need batteries, baby. I don't need batteries. So let's start. So I hope you all have, hang on, I can't spell this, and I can't put this into the computer and talk at the same time. I can't split my brain up like that. So I hope you all have a fabulous rest of your evening. Thank you so much for joining me in the radio station today. I'm going to be back as always next Tuesday with another Gen X experience. My brain is working too fast for my mouth. The Gen X experience next week has got an interview with a very interesting person called Selwyn Cook. How do I know Selwyn Cook? I go to Toastmasters with him. He's been a Toastmaster for about 18 months, and he is one of the most interesting men I've ever met. He does a lot with Disability New Zealand. That's been a lot of the work that he's done, but he's pulled off some pretty amazing speeches at Toastmasters that have really given us an insight to parts of society that we haven't really thought too long and hard about. And I asked him, he's going to dial in, he won't be here because he lives in Taupari, just outside Hamilton, but I've asked him to dial in because I just think that the world that he moves in, that he supports, is really worth sharing. You know, they're our fellow New Zealanders who live with adversity, and may I say, live with absolute courage and bravery. So get excited, people. That's next week. I will be doing some tunes next week, probably finish off the rest of this playlist that I didn't finish today, because man, I've still got Rihanna. I didn't play Bruno Mars, Lady Gaga, Justin Timberland. Oh man, there was Justin Timberland? Why do I think that that's wrong? That's what I've written. I think it's Justin Timberlake. I'm having one of those moments. And I didn't play The Weeknd or Calvin Harris either. So there were a few that I missed. But hey, we've got through a fantastic afternoon. I've got all my washing dry and my Udi and stuff in the dryer as well. Life is good. So have a fabulous afternoon, people. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Mā te wā.